Hello, friends and family out there in podcast land or YouTube TV land. My name is Eric, and welcome to the craziness that lives inside my head. Today I want to rant about an incident that happened in my life back in the 70s. And what brought it on was a friend of mine was talking about suicide. And of course, he wasn't too sympathetic about people committing suicide. I mean, that's his business. And I explained to him a story about my suicide. I had quite a few, but the one I told him about was when I was dating, I should say, in love with my first boyfriend. I've never felt that feeling before, that feeling that you get when you really love someone. And so we did have a turbulent relationship. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even meant to be perfect, because his idea of us living together was he would get married to a female and I get married to a female, and we buy a house together and we live in a house and we raise our kids together and our wives all in the same house. Well, that's not what I really wanted, but I didn't say that. I kept that to myself, that that's not what I was looking for. But meanwhile, when we go on our dates, whatever, we went on one of our dates. It was a gay bar it was off of Delancey Street. This is about 77, 78 off of Delancey Street. And we went to this bar. We heard about it. And when we went to the bar, it was, I guess back then we said, a drag bar. A lot of drag queens hung out there and they had drag shows. So on this night we went there. He said to me, we were sitting at the bar drinking, and he said to me, I had to go buy a pack of cigarettes. He was a smoker. And this bar didn't have those cigarette machines. But this is down in Delancey Street. And this is the beginning of when they started having bodegas and these small grocery stores opening almost 24/7 for people like him, or like us, who hangs out at 4 o'clock in the morning. So there was one on that block, and he said he was gonna go get a pack of cigarettes. Fine. Anyway, an hour passed, a whole hour, and I'm sitting there. I'm saying to myself, I said, it doesn't take that long just to go a couple of steps to get a pack of cigarettes. And then I didn't know what to do. I started to get up. As I was getting up to find out what the hell was going on, he pops into the bar. And he sits next to me, order a drink. And he says, and I said, what took you so long? You just went down the block to get a pack of cigarettes. And he said to me, oh, don't worry about it. He made up some bullshit excuse. So we're sitting there enjoying our cocktails. Hadn't been no more than 5 minutes since he sat down. And this tall drag queen, came over to me and whispered in my ear, I had your man. Could you imagine the jealousy, rage that went through my veins at that very moment? And I turned to him and I gave him this unbelievable. He got a little nervous and he went in his pocket and he gave me a $50 bill. I said, what's this? He goes, well, she wanted to suck my penis, and I told her that she had to pay me $50. She don't live far from here. I met her on the way to the cigarette store, and he handed me the $50 here. Here's $50. She gave me $50, I don't care. You take the $50. You got the $50. And I was like, and then he saw that look in my face. And he got me out of that bar, but I was ready to have an argument. We was gonna fight. And I did say to him before because he knew I was quite upset. I said, "You mean to tell me you had me sitting up here for an hour thinking that you're going to get a pack of cigarettes and all you wanted to do is get your dick sucked for $50? I'm out of here." And he came out. Now, mind you, we 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 had a car. We had a Cadillac. I forgot what year. It was a Cadillac, and I helped him buy that Cadillac. He couldn't drive that Cadillac because he didn't have a license. He had a permit. So I would have to drive him home to the Bronx, and I lived in Brooklyn. I told him take a freaking bus. I said, I'm not driving you to the Bronx. I'm going home to Brooklyn. So he said, no, you're not. He hopped in a car, and I was driving. I was on Delancey Street. I said, no, I'm not going. He's arguing me. Yes, you're gonna go. So now mind you, I did have a lot of alcohol in me, and I did have a lot of booze and drugs. There was a tractor trailer coming, and it's one of those lane highways. And I pulled the car into the next lane, head on to the tractor trailer. I figure, don't ask me what got into it. It was one of those crazy moments, especially when you drink a drug, where I was going to end it all. I said, F this. I'm going to end this. And he grabbed the steering wheel and got back, and we fighting the steering wheel. We got back on the other side, and just missed the tractor trailer, and he's hitting me in my head and hitting me in my head, and you trying to kill me, you trying to kill me, all like this. And then he pulled me out of the car, and I got on the driver's side, on the passenger side, and he drove home. He knew how to drive. He just didn't have a license, so he drove. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if you want to hear the end of this story, he parked the car at a hydrant because I lived in downtown Brooklyn, and if you ain't home at a certain time, you don't get no parking space. There was a parking space right in front of my building, but it was a fire hydrant there. So he parked the car in front of the building, in front of a fire hydrant, and we were fighting all the way upstairs. He pushed his way through the vestibule door, and I'm trying to get upstairs, and he's hitting me and keep punching me and everything. And then when he got into the apartment, I have to shut the door, and he just beat the hell out of me and punching and beating and ripped my clothes off, and it was the best sex I've ever had. Thank you for listening to the craziness that lives inside my head. Oh, la, la, la.